Good morning, good morning. Welcome to day 12 of my parenting challenge. We are still in part 2 where we're building the connections of our relationship, but we are moving on. Today's the last day about the communication piece, thank goodness. Today's a little bit longer because it really is so important. You cannot be an effective parent if you're not an effective communicator. That's why I'm spending so much time on this. I am jumping ahead a little bit. Yesterday I talked about casual connections. Today I was going to talk about planned connections, and that's really planning fun activities with your kids. I do have a worksheet that was around that plan connections, but I wanted to move on just because I know there's so much to cover. But for today, I've got some Venn diagrams. And what you can do is everyone brainstorm the activities that they like and then find the overlap, which activities you all enjoy doing together, whether it's with one child or as a whole family, because the best times together is when you're all doing things that you enjoy doing, right? So I'll leave it there. We just don't want to have to hash out, if you're playing games that you don't want to play, it makes it a little bit stiff. So when you're spending that time with your kids, you want to make sure it's all enjoyable for everybody. So today we are going to talk about problem solving a little bit more effectively. And now you get to bring up your issues. It's not just all about listening. So today is the day where we're going to be practicing that. But when you bring up your issues, you got to be careful. There's still no nagging and lecturing and scolding, because we're shutting down the communication channels if we do that, right? The kids will become defensive. It's just another nag session. So we don't want to do that. What we are doing is we're going to be inviting our kids to be an equal partner. They are going to help us identify the problem, whether they bring it up or we're bringing it up, and they're going to help us solve the problem, right? So there's a few key steps here. First of all, you want to make sure everybody's calm. You're not going to get anywhere if anybody's frustrated, right? There's going to be shutdown. So you want to set up these times to talk when everyone's calm. You also want to set up the environment to be a positive one, right? We want our kids to want to problem solve with us. We don't want it to be, oh my gosh, it's another nagging session, I'm going to be in trouble, right? So we want to set up the environment. I always start things off really positively. I look forward to chatting with you and trying to figure this out because I know you always have good ideas. In my home, we have family meetings, and we will have a big snack for us to all share. So the kids get excited about making a snack, and we have games and things like that. So we want to make sure the whole atmosphere and everything surrounding our chats are also fun. And we also want to make sure we're very clear that we are working together. There's no one who's in trouble here. We're not going to be blaming our kids for anything, but we're working together. So we're going to state the problem very objectively in one brief sentence. Parents get on a tangent, we talk a little bit too much. And then we're going to ask for their input. So it could be, hey, bud, I noticed getting your homework done has been really challenging. What's going on? What's going on for you? Or I noticed I get really yelly at the end of the day because, I'm trying to clean up and then I find toys everywhere. And I just want to spend time with you guys. So what's going on? Let's try to figure this out together. So I'm not blaming any one person. It's just feeling I'm frustrated, or I notice this is what's going on. Let's work together. And then we listen. So we can state what our concern is, and now we listen to them. And you guys should be pro listeners by now. Once they've shared their story, then you can just make sure you've clarified that you've got it all. So you summarize, reflect back what you heard. Do I have it? Do I've got it all? If they need to correct you, that's fine. Let them clarify. If they have anything to add, then they're able to do that. Once you have everything that they are bringing to the table, okay, so this is what your concerns are on this hand, and here are my concerns on the other hand. So what can we do to work together so that we can both be happy? That's essentially all it is, really brief. This is you, this is me, let's come together. Now you're gonna brainstorm, right? And I do have scripts to help you with this, so I'll put those up right after this video so that you've got some of those, because you wanna keep it light, right? Even, with the cleaning up, I feel like I'm nagging all the time and we don't go to bed, happy and loving, and I just wanna have a good night with you. I wanna be able to spend my night having fun with you. So let's figure this out. Now, when we brainstorm, don't already come into the meeting with a plan, right? You want to come in with an open mind. You have no idea what the outcome is going to be. And we also want to invite our kids first to give their ideas, right? And be open to whatever ideas that they have. So you have no idea what they're going to come up with. So you're going to write down all of the ideas. Okay. And don't judge at any point in this. So even if your kids come with something ridiculous, like, I just want to stay up all night playing video games, or I don't think it's fair that I do any chores. So you just clean the house and I'm going to do my thing. You be my maid. Okay. Obviously we're going to hate that idea, but we're going to write it down and we're going to keep our mouth closed, because if we start judging, they're going to be like, see, you're not going to listen to me anyways. You're just going to make me do what you want to do. We've now lost their trust. They feel set up, right? We don't want that to happen. So don't dismiss anything. And I always throw in some really silly ideas, or ideas that they're going to hate as well. How about you be my maid, right? Or how about no electronics ever again? But it's a fun. It's not just being, well, It's just, well, this is just another idea. Let's write it down. Because we want kids to be able to cross off ideas that they hate. And we don't want them to cross off ideas that we really like either, right? So it's this give and take. Once all the ideas are written down, that's when we can start crossing off. Okay, well, it's unrealistic to be up all night playing video games, so let's cross that off. So it's a little bit of a conversation kind of going back and forth in that way. So once we have all our ideas down, then we can start having a plan, right? And really acknowledge your kids' ideas. They're probably going to come up with things that you've never thought of before. So when you're making your plan, you want to evaluate your options, the good parts, the bad parts of different ideas, things that aren't doable will be doable, things that you're willing to try. Once you have that plan, when you get to that stage, you want to make sure everybody's on board. We want a win-win situation here. We don't want anybody feeling like, fine, I'm giving in again, right? That's not what we're going for. So if you can't do it all in one session, maybe you come back, let's go brainstorm some more ideas and we can come back in a little bit or tomorrow or something like that, so that you can come up with a plan that, yeah, I feel good about this. You also want to set a date once you've got your plan. Let's check in, maybe in 3 days or at the end of the week or, 2 weeks. Let's try it out, see what works, see what doesn't work, and how we can tweak it so that you're not stuck in that plan, right? It's just working together. And then at the end, making sure, I'm really impressed with how you came up with some great ideas. I'm impressed how we were problem solving together. You want to make sure that you're ending on a really light meeting. Now, ideally, you want to have regular family meetings. I have a weekly one at my house. That way, you don't always have to be, hey, can we talk? And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble again, or I've done something wrong. If you have regular family meetings, you can always leave those times to that meeting. And that's when you can bring it up, right? So that it's not just, let's find a time. And when you do that, you're getting out of the heat in the moment. If there's something in the moment that you want to nag about, you're like, you know what, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to bring it to the family meeting. And then oftentimes when we get to the family meeting, it wasn't actually a big deal. Just in that moment, it might have been. So that will help reduce some of our nagging, but still get some of the issues addressed later on if you can wait that long. So just to go over, some of the things to think about that I do at my family meeting, we love having different roles and responsibilities. So we'll have a chairperson of the meeting. They kind of direct it. They go through the agenda items. So, okay, everyone go through and talk about the highlights of your week. So we always start with the highlights, the good things that happened in our week. And then she'll go through the agenda, so they'll pick out what's the agenda from our issue box. Is there things to discuss? And the chairperson, and it's usually one of my daughters who's the chairperson, will then start going through the problem solving. Okay, what's going on? What's going on for you? Let's brainstorm ideas. Let's make a plan, right? We kind of go through those types of steps. We also have a secretary. So if there are things at family meetings, we usually say dish out chores. So we'll say these are the chores of the week that need to get done, and everyone will pick and choose what they want to do. So then the secretary can write down, right, everybody's chores for that week that they chose. And it's, again, not us assigning the chores. The kids are saying, oh, I'll wash the bathroom, or I'll do this, right? We also have a snack maker. That's usually a popular role. And we also have a game chooser, because we always finish our family meetings with a game. So it's fun. Once we go through all our agenda items, then we finish well, with the game, but before the game, we plan a fun family activity. Because if we don't plan, the week goes by and we've not done anything fun. So we're planning something. We look at the schedule and see what's going to work. So that's kind of what the agenda is. We do focus on the positive at the beginning, at the end. The one thing you also need to remember is this is a voluntary process. We can't force our kids to do anything. If you haven't learned that yet, you will for sure. We can't force them. We can't force them to the family meeting. But, we're making plans here. We're figuring out issues. And so if there's an issue that involves them, like homework or school or chores, it's just telling them the opportunity. Hey, bud, we're going to talk about homework today. So we're going to make a plan. We would love your input, but it's up to you. Right? And there's times where my girls are like, no, I don't want to participate. But then once we start getting into this problem solving, they're like, oh no, I do want to jump in. They realize this is going to affect me. But if they don't participate in the plan, and even if you're just it's just the two of you, you've got one kid and you're a single mom, it's okay. I'm going to sit down and brainstorm and I'm going to make up a plan. So I'd love your input. Otherwise, I'm going to do it. If you don't participate, that's just telling me you're going to be okay with whatever my plan is. And we'll try it for 3 days and then we can fix it if you want to help me fix it, right? So that's kind of where we get with that engagement. But the more engaged they are and the funner you can make it, it's going to be easier. And the more practice you do, and that's why I love the family meetings, we're doing this all the time. It's just going to get easier and easier and easier. And our family meetings are really short. It might only take 5 minutes and then the game. So for today, try having a family meeting or just a little problem solving session. To be successful, maybe pick a small little thing that's going to be easy to solve, not a big issue that you've been banging your head against for a long time. Later on today, I am going to actually have a live family meeting with my girls, so you can kind of see that process. My little one is still sleeping, so I'm not exactly sure what time, but check in. Even if you don't catch me live, check in again, and I'll have that video up sometime later on today if you just want ideas of kind of how we do it. So go have a fabulous day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.